Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Whitney Ward. Well, this morning, Spokane County and city leaders announced the activation of an emergency operations center. This is the first step in their plan to clear out that homeless camp near I-90 by November 15th. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley attended that press conference this morning. She's joining us here now in the studio with what we can expect in the coming weeks. Amanda?
Whitney, Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich, County Commissioner Mary Cuney, and Mayor Nadine Woodward all said this morning they believe the homeless camp near I-90 can be cleared out in 3 to 4 weeks. And that's because it now has the Emergency Operations Center activated. The purpose of the EOC is to bring together regional resources and agencies under one roof. That is where all the major decisions will be made when it comes to the homeless camp. There, they will execute plans to move people out of the homeless camp on WSDOT property and into housing. That plan includes turning the Trent shelter into a navigation center. This is where regional resources will connect people to services that will meet their individual housing needs.
It's basically bringing people inside in a temporary situation, connected to services, meals, showers, restrooms, and then having them have a temporary space while they are waiting eventually for the housing options that will come their way, rather than being in a field, in a tent, with frozen ground and snow falling around them.
But WSDOT sent a letter yesterday saying the county's Emergency Operations Center is not needed. And that's because it says the state is already implementing all of the county's proposed actions. Now, as for that navigation center, Mayor Woodward says regional leaders will work every day to make sure there are enough beds available at the Trent shelter and other facilities to take in people waiting for housing. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you. And tonight we have new numbers from that Trent shelter. According to the city of Spokane, the average weekly number for the shelter has been about 159 for occupancy. The shelter saw its highest count on Saturday. That was 176 people. 59 of them said they had previously lived at that homeless camp along I-90. For reference, Friday is when Spokane saw its first 30-degree night and a return of all that rain. The city says it is ready to accommodate anyone looking for shelter space tonight. A health warning now affecting the entire country. Medical experts are sounding the alarm about a possible triple-demic that could unfold this winter with cases of COVID-19, the flu, and RSV all expected to rise. The season is already off to a rough start right now with respiratory illnesses spiking across the country. The White House is urging people to get their flu and COVID booster shots to avoid contracting those viruses. Today, President Biden got an updated COVID vaccine himself. The updated vaccine is effective against both the original strain of COVID as well as the Omicron variant. So far, only 19.4 million Americans have received this latest shot. That's just about 17% of the U.S. population. In the meantime, RSV is already sending kids to the hospital nationwide. Pediatric hospitals in many states are at capacity right now, with kids fighting respiratory infections. President Biden says parents need to be aware of the spread of this virus.
We're already seeing a rise in flu and RSV and other respiratory illnesses, especially among young children. So take precautions, stay safe.
Officials say the numbers will only rise as colder temperatures force people to spend more time indoors for the winter. And Spokane is seeing its own rise in RSV cases. KREM 2's Malia Kamal sat down with one local doctor today and talks about what to look out for in your own children. Malia?
Yes, I spoke with Spokane County's health officer, Francisco Vasquez. Now, he explains that RSV is common during the fall and winter. Vasquez says that it's hard to track the number of cases here locally because hospitals do not have to report them. However, doctors are seeing more cases this season. Providence Medical did not give an exact number, but also says that they're seeing a rise in typical cases for this time of year. Now, Vasquez says that precautions during COVID-19 might have prevented kids from building a strong immune system. RSV usually causes mild cold-like symptoms in children and senior citizens. Most people recover within a week or two, but serious cases can lead to bronchitis or pneumonia. Vasquez says parents should seek medical care when symptoms linger.
When you have persistent fever, particularly you start to develop respiratory symptoms like difficulty breathing, rapid breathing rate, a cough that sounds wet, wheezing. Those are signs that there's something more in the lungs, not just up in your throat and your nose.
And if this happens, that's when it's time to seek medical attention. Now, Vasquez says that there isn't a vaccine for RSV, but there are clinical trials taking place. Now, the virus can be more serious for senior citizens and infants or those with compromised immune systems. He says that in these cases, it's important to sanitize, wash your hands, and wear a mask. In the newsroom, Malia Kamal, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's talk weather now. Things getting so much colder here in the last few days, and another round of rain is on the way tomorrow. And in some places in the morning, our chief meteorologist Jeremy Legou is saying, don't be surprised if you see snowflakes falling.
Yeah, this is such a hard message to send out. This is why I've avoided it the past couple days. Whitney, how do I say you are going to likely see snowflakes, but it is not going to make the road slick if you are in higher elevations of Spokane?
I don't know if I'm going to believe you. I'm probably going to get scared because we all kind of panic a little bit at that first snowfall.
That's exactly what's going to happen. It is, you know, Monday we saw a couple of snowflakes mix in on the South Hill. Basically what we are going to see tomorrow is that. Again, it's going to be raining. A couple of snowflakes wind up mixing in. Some of those might be a little bit fatter than what we saw on Monday. Everybody's going to panic. I am going to be here going, I told you it was coming, but it's not going to stick. It's not even going to make the road slick. Right now, pretty ominous looking outside. Temperatures on the cool side of things. We are still down in the low 40s. All in all, not overly bad, but snow is back in the forecast in higher elevations. You send it into the mountains and you're talking temps. Well, I mean, snow levels dropping down to about 4,000 feet. And upwards of close to a foot of snow all said and done. There's already moisture moving in over to the Cascades, making its way toward us. I think tonight, after the sun goes down and we're all nestled at home, is when that hits central Washington, then eastern Washington and North Idaho. Tomorrow morning, see it right there. That's what I'm talking about. That pink that you see right there that shows a wintry mix, that doesn't stick. But if you head up high in elevation, yes, it does. I think Micah, Quartz, Mount Spokane, you're going to see some decent snow there. Here in town, no worries. You might see some snowflakes, though.
All right, we'll be ready for it, Jeremy. Thank you. A shelter-in-place order has been lifted for homes in Grant County tonight after a fertilizer plant fire released toxic chemicals into the air. Now, that plant is located right near Moses Lake. It caught fire on Sunday afternoon, and it burned to the ground within hours. The sheriff's office, though, said there have been concerns about the chemicals that were burned and the smoke that people could have been breathing in the immediate area. As that site continues to smolder now, the Washington Department of Ecology will continue to monitor the air quality to test for hazardous particulate matter. People are still advised to avoid the area if they can. If you have to travel near that site that burned, make sure to wear a well-fitted N95 mask, and fire officials say no one was inside the plant at the time of the fire. They're still working to figure out exactly how it started. A suspected trespasser in Post Falls is recovering today after being stabbed during an attempted home break-in on Sunday night. Post Falls police say they got a call from a homeowner who told them they fought off someone who was trying to break into their home. During the fight, one resident stabbed the suspect and then pushed them out of the house. Police found them just a short time later. No charges have been filed yet. The midterm elections are just 2 weeks away, but if you are a voter in Grant County, you may run into this problem. Take a look at the picture. The final version of the Grant County ballot itself is just too big to fit into the envelope. So the Grant County auditor says, yes, it was our mistake. They said it was an oversight in their office because of short staffing. So they say you'll just have to fold the final ballot so that it fits properly into that envelope.